So it is something like also Transition Town Movement.
Yeah, well, the Transition Town Movement is very interesting because it came out of permaculture activism, of course, in the beginning. Rob Hopkins was a permaculture teacher in the UK and in Ireland, and he was also specifically very strongly influenced by my work, and his awareness about peak oil made him realise that a lot more people might be interested in the sort of things we would associate with permaculture if they could see that it was in their self-interest, and that the awareness of peak oil combined with climate change made that more real for people.
Yes.
Because a lot of people had seen permaculture as, well, that's something of an alternative lifestyle choice, or it's something that is appropriate as development aid in poor countries. But that it wasn't really directly necessary for people in developed countries. Whereas through transition towns, that awareness of, the consequences of peak oil combined with climate change, maybe this is actually necessary anyway. Or at least in the way Transition Towns has reflected the frustration of a lot of people about, well, the government is not really doing anything. They are talking about these problems in the case of climate change, not talking about them in the case of peak oil, but actually essentially continuing to make the problems worse. So that question of, it falls to us, then can divide in two ways. One can be the old political movements to shout louder for those in power to pull the levers of power from the top, and the other is to say, no, well, we are going to do this anyway. That it's actually in our interests to do it whether or not the rest of society changes. But in the process, we give an empowering model that other people can copy. So it has, both those possibilities of the self-interest, protecting oneself in terms of uncertain futures, and being a model for a larger spread of these processes.